Hi everyone, welcome back. Hope everyone's doing okay. So I'm doing a reading for, Wednesday, October 15th, 2025. And as I shuffle the cards, I'm just kind of getting an idea of the overall feeling of what everyone's going through, how things are going. So anyway, if this doesn't resonate with you, then please move on. Let's get started. Okay, let me move this back a little bit. Okay. Here we go. Oh. Excuse me. Yeah, so we have the Six of Swords. Let me pull a second card just to get, a better idea of how this reading is going to go. Yeah. And the Devil. So my phone. Hold on 1 second. Okay. I don't recognize the number. Anyway. Yeah, with the Six of Swords and the Devil, I feel like this is just a reading for me personally. Like, I really want to move on from what's going on, but something is definitely holding me back. It could be myself. Like, I'm, my own worst enemy. It could be for all of you out there. And so, just a lot's been going on, and it's hard to move on. Something's keeping us from really stepping forward into our power. It could also be like external influences as well, like, excuse me, things that are going through, like, the political spectrum, like the world at large. Just everything is just so crazy right now, and it's really starting to put a damper on all of us, I think. Yeah. We have death. So with death, it's really just being able to push through that barrier and to really move on, move forward, and allow ourselves to see the good and the light at the end of the tunnel. This is about really, like, pushing through that sort of existential dread. So I don't know about you, but for me, like, it's just a constant daily struggle. And so it's just, yeah. And so we really kind of have to put old behaviors behind us. It could be this devil character, this sort of internal struggle, this yes-no struggle, but it could also be about, like, leaving sort of toxic people, like relationships or situations that don't serve us. But we have to, like, something in us has to die first before we can move on. The Three of Wands is here. So with this one, it's really just about allowing ourselves to really go with the flow. Not forcing ourselves, but like allowing ourselves to really let go of the past, let things out of our lives that we don't want anymore. And so with this one, you can see the ships at the bottom. It's really just like leaving old habits behind, leaving circumstances behind. It could be physical, it could be internalized things, it could be emotional things. But this is all about, like, you know, really ignoring this part of ourselves that tells us, like, no, you really can't do that, because we can do anything if we set our minds to it, right? So let's move forward. So I got a phone call and I didn't recognize the number. I hope they left a message. Okay. We have the Queen of Pentacles, and this queen here is really about allowing ourselves to take in love, like external validation and love from others, and opening ourselves up to the gifts of the universe and the earth and just everything that's so leaving behind the things that really bog us down and really kind of let us, like, things that really just don't work for us anymore. Again, it doesn't fit. So moving on. And for me, I'm getting that this could be potentially going to Scotland again. That's something that I've been wanting to do for quite a long time. And it's very, like, it's at the top of, or it's one of my top priorities, maybe, to just, like, leave the US and, like, never come back. I'm so tired of everything that's going on. And I'm sure, you know, with me, and I'm maybe with some of you, it really just puts a damper on, like, mental health. So, you know, we have all of our rights, or most, you know, all of our rights being taken away left and right, and it's just like, when will this stop? When will we have a leader? And again, it brings me back to this video I saw that I might link in the description if I, you know, remember. It was about Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, who I suppose he made a prediction in, I think it was the 1930s or something, and it was one of his lost predictions, and it was never officially published. So it was something along the lines of how America will be so divided at some point in history, and it could be right now. I mean, he could have been talking about sometime in the 21st century, and how the broken wings of the eagle will finally start to mend themselves. So really kind of the eagle will start to fly again. And I really like that sort of metaphor, or euphemism, whatever, to really kind of express this sense of togetherness, and that there was going to be a female leader not of this mind. I believe that's what the wording was, but if not, something similar to that. And so with with this female leader, it could be a woman, it could be a collective of people, like a group of people that are sort of ushering in this new era of collectiveness, of everyone really kind of coming together and allowing for wholeness and a sense of completion and unity. Anyway, I digress. And I know, like, maybe leaving, like, for me, it could be seen as, like, the coward's way out, but I don't blame anyone if they want to fight like hell. But I'm just so tired of fighting everyone and everything, including myself. So, yeah, this Queen of Pentacles energy is really just like bringing forward this sense of communion. And yeah. Anyway, that wasn't really about my reading, but you know. So next we have the Queen of Wands. So we have a couple of queens here to really kind of bring in this loving energy. And with the Queen of Wands here, it's really going and getting what we want, what we need, what we're owed, basically, and allowing for ourselves that sort of freedom to choose what we want, that grace to move forward. A lot of forward momentum in this reading. So with like the Queens and the Three of Wands, Death, and the Six of Swords, it's really just about this forward progression. And so a lot of like love and a lot of action will be, expected pretty soon, I think. So I'm hoping. But okay, yeah, we have a lot of court cards. We have the King of Swords. And I always liked the King of Swords because he leads, or this King of Swords energy leads with a level head, with logic and some intuition too. Like, it's really about what makes the most sense and how to best serve others. Because everything is me, like, I am doing this because I want to, like, not we are doing this because we need this. We're doing things because it serves number one. And sometimes that's okay in terms of self-development and spiritual growth. But in this instance, I do not think that the King of Swords is a selfish kind of energy. I think it's more about like giving back and making the wisest choice for the whole. So we've been getting the King of Swords quite a bit lately. And, I really hope that this King of Swords energy, like, really, like, leads us forward and allows us that time to sort of recover and rethink our choices with how we're moving through everything that's going on. And next, I got this card a couple times in the past few readings. We have Judgment. So this King of Swords energy is really just about like a reckoning for all of us. So here we are down here, right? And then this messenger is up there kind of bringing in this new sense of coming, like a new sense of like a foretelling of something, like heralding in, ushering in something new. So maybe it could be some of the queens in this reading, the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, but I really think that this is about the King of Swords in this instance, in this reading, and judgment is here for us. I mean, we're ready. Like, we're down here, take us away, like, bring us with you, oh dear aliens. Like, finally, like, so take me away. I feel like that's kind of the case for a lot of us. Like, we just don't want to be in this heavy plane anymore. We don't want to, I don't know how to, I don't know. So, okay, someone explained it to me as, like, not wanting to be here on Earth, but also not wanting to die at the same time. So, the way I see it is, like, it's not like like an ideation, like a unaliving, right? It's just something that we're tired of fighting. We don't want this heaviness to really take over. And in some cases, that's what's happening for a lot of us. And it's just, you know, we're waiting for this group of people or this single individual to come and be like, this is so wrong. And I think that, you know, not wanting to die, but also not wanting to be on Earth at the same time is kind of a very existential kind of feeling. Like, I went on earlier to say, you know, like earlier I was talking about the sort of existential dread of, like, when is this sort of disease going to end? This epidemic of hatred and fear, and it just, so anyway, we're ready for this. We're down here. We're the people down here waiting for something to bring, like, to bring forth a new level of maybe consciousness of a new time, perhaps. So we need a sign. Give me a sign, right? So we have the Ten of Pentacles, and this is us really, like, coming to terms and reevaluating our values, allowing ourselves that grace, like I've been talking about, that grace to really kind of move forward, that ability to look back on our choices and really think to ourselves, like, okay, maybe that wasn't the right thing to do, and have the sort of forward progression and a forward movement. Do you like my mug? It's the Hermit. Anyway, it's a lot of this forward motion and allowing ourselves to really, like, look back and think, oh, like, maybe what we did in the past wasn't right. Maybe we can learn from our past. And I know this is kind of an idealistic kind of outlook on it, but hopefully this is what we come to, this Ten of Pentacles, looking at our values and really kind of nurturing that and allowing ourselves that balance. Yeah, and I mean, we have the Nine of Wands. We're really kind of holding ourselves back, right? Because of the Devil, back the second card I pulled. And so this Nine of Wands is really blocking us. It could be internal, it could be external, and I really think that it's a combination of both. So things that we internalize, we're blocking ourselves from doing, from creating something that is bigger than us, but allowing others to also kind of dictate how we move forward and moving backwards instead. So it's kind of like I don't know, like we're almost at the end, right? I think this is more of a symbol of like, don't give up. There are better things coming. There's so much turmoil, and it just, maybe we have to go backwards to move forwards, but that shouldn't always be the case. I think this is the exception to the rule. Because if you look at like, I don't know, countries in Central and South America, as well as in the Middle East, like before the Taliban took over in the Middle East, Iraq, Iran, and other countries surrounding were very liberal, and they allowed women to move around without head coverings or other kinds of, I don't want to be insightful. So, I don't want to, I'm not saying insightful, like, I don't want to incite anything. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, in the 70s and 80s, like before the Taliban took over, women were allowed to dress freely and however they wanted, and it was a very like progressive kind of area, and there weren't as many restrictions as there are now. But also in Central and South America, there were dictators too. So we had like Trujillo in the Dominican Republic. We had, I can't even think of some. We had some in Chile, some dictators in Colombia, some dictators in Venezuela, and so much political turmoil that it's just really, we're barricading ourselves from moving forward. And it goes for the same in like Germany in the 1930s, as well as Spain. So we had Hitler, we had Franco, we had Mussolini in Italy, Hirohito in Japan. It was just all of these Axis powers that really hindered our progress. So let's pull a couple more. And we have the moon. I think we're really kind of blocking ourselves in the sense that we're really not allowing ourselves to see what's in the unconscious, in the subconscious, what's really hidden, and what human nature really does, and how evil some people can be. And I think that we're allowing this, maybe not consciously. And so I think like with the moon here, it's just about really kind of starting to recognize like the downfalls of human nature, but also the good things about human nature too. So again, like I said, there's a lot of balance that needs to happen. Like the scales need to be even. Because right now, here are my scales. One's over here and the other's up here. So they need to kind of come together and be even. They need to be evened out and balanced. I can't make this up. We have justice again. you know, the scales need to be balanced. This is what we need to fight for. We need to fight for this liberty. We need to fight for this freedom, this equity, and equality too. But I think equity is a more suitable term, because with an equitable society, you have more than just equality. There was some kind of comic that I saw. It showed a fence, and people were looking over the fence, but there were some people who were shorter and couldn't see. So instead, equality would be considered like putting a box for those to stand on, or a stepladder so they could see over the fence. But equity would be removing the fence completely. So I think it's time for more equity in a lot of aspects of our lives right now. We need to be seen and heard. We have the Six of Wands, and we need to really make things happen. Never, ever would I consider anything violent as positive. The way that I'm seeing this is that with the current POTUS, unfortunately, I think that it may need to be an option. And I am by no means saying that that's okay, because it's not. I think that in this instance, it may be necessary, and I don't think that should ever happen. I don't think violence is always necessary. But, I mean, maybe if the Epstein files come out, that'll be enough. I mean, he's the only president in U.S. history who's been impeached twice, but never left office. So, this guy just has no sense of values. His self-esteem is way through the roof. He has this sort of deluded idea of himself as this hyper-masculine sort of machismo, like, I don't know. And I think all dictators in some sense are kind of like that. They see themselves as like these all-powerful kind of people, but really they're not, and they're afraid of the people, and that's why they do what they do. And maybe FDR was wrong in saying that people should not be afraid of their governments should be afraid of their people, because if the government is afraid of their people, then they impose all of these restrictions. Think current so-called communist states, right? So I think that other countries' ideas of communism is very dirty. It's not the ideal version of communism. I mean, Bolshevism was not ideal. I mean, Lenin used violence, and so, you know, it kind of stems down. I mean, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, but, like, I think that current ideas of communism or socialism are more, like, skewed, and they're dirtied by what other people follow as true communism or socialism. And again, no system is perfect, but let's get back to the reading. I know I'm going on tangents left and right. Okay. We have the Queen of Swords. This is another good example of someone who might be coming forward and allowing the sort of level-headedness, this balance, and allowing for justice to be served, and to allow for everyone to be heard, fighting for what you believe in, and not letting others dictate what we do or what everyone else does. Yeah, and allowing us to build these sort of strong foundations. We've been getting this card quite a bit. We have the Three of Pentacles. So, strong foundations. Working together to build something from the ground up. Sort of like a grassroots movement. And so this Queen of Swords could, or this King of Swords even, could be that leader that we need to move forward and to build ourselves back up. Maybe not to be the greatest country in the world, because, I mean, I think that's just ridiculous. There's no greatest country, because there are so many problems. And, I mean, anyway, I'm going to pull the top and bottom cards, and then I'll do an oracle reading. Interesting. Okay. So the top was the Ace of Pentacles, and the bottom is the Two of Pentacles. We're really sort of teetering on the edge of something right now. These scales are not in balance. They need to really tip back up or go the other way. So really starting to find our values again, really allowing ourselves to move forward into this sort of new ability to really focus on what matters to us the most. But unfortunately, we have a lot of work to do. This Two of Pentacles is really just the imbalance of power, and how it really kind of forces us to make decisions that really are not in our best interests. So it's very difficult to really kind of get things back into balance when there's so much injustice and discontent. And sure, there's civil disobedience, and by God, I will urge everyone to read that book, short story essay. We need to take it back. We need to take back our power. And our ability to really fight has been tampered down because everything's just being taken away with, like, the government shutdown, with everyone blaming Democrats for everything. And I didn't get on this channel to really do political stuff, but that's just how this is going for today. Apologies for that, but, you know, if it comes, it comes out. So, anyway, I will do the oracle reading. I think I'm going to do my Woodland Wardens again. I've been really enjoying this deck. And the Woodland Wardens Tarot deck has finally come out, and that's on my wish list. It's in my cart on Amazon, and I have not yet bought it. So, something that I want to do is, you know, build up my collection. I do like collecting things. I'm like a magpie for everything that I collect. Like, I collect books, I collect crystals, I collect tarot decks, I collect uh, everything pretty much. Anyway, so this reading, I'm shuffling this deck pretty well because the last time I did it, I pulled some of the same cards I normally get. Ooh, this is a good one. The Bat and Hellebore, and that's about intuition. And I love this for this reading, this card for this reading, because we need to follow our intuition much more closely and not dismiss it right away. We need to figure how to really balance our intuition with our logic mind and allow for intuition and logic to really take over and balance that. Ooh, I like this. So we have the Frog and Lotus, and this is about metamorphosis. So I love that this card has the frog and the lotus on it, because I don't know if any of you know, but the lotus flower, just the way that it grows through like mud and like murky water, and it's very delicate. But once it blooms, it's beautiful. And then the frog, of course, goes through its own metamorphosis where it turns from a tadpole into a frog. So and it's a very, to us as humans, it's a very fast transformation, but I'm sure to the frogs, their sense of time is different from us. But that's, again, this is really just about turning things upside down to be right. Really turning whatever is going on its head, and really kind of coming into our own and growing from that experience and this lived experience that we're all in. We have the Cat in Lavender again, and this is about independence, right? This is what we're fighting for. We need to be independent. I mean, of other people, but yes, but as a sovereign, well-respected country, right? So, independence is a huge aspect of what we're doing, but I think this idea of American individualism is just unrealistic. Because who really wants to fill out their taxes every April? Who really wants to pay $500 a month for health insurance? And then even with health insurance, medication costs and doctor costs, it's stupid. Anyway. Yeah, the Boar and Pumpkin, and I like this card quite a bit because it's about confidence. We need to have the confidence to move forward, to allow ourselves this progression of movement, to allow for this metamorphosis, and to allow for this intuition to really blossom, as well as our independence. And lavender, I like lavender because it's known as like being a very hardy plant, and it smells amazing. And I mean, it's one of those things. Yeah. And we have the Hare and Oak, and that's about new opportunities. This is perfect for us right now. We need new opportunities. We need to stop things from going further than they already are. And that's hard, especially because people are pointing fingers everywhere, and it's just not a great situation. It's just everyone's rights are under attack. I'll pull one more card from my oracle. We have the Bobcat and Blackthorn, and that's patience. Things don't happen overnight. It's hard to hear, I know, but for things to finally work out in our favor, we need to have patience while continuing civil disobedience and allowing for our differences and embracing those differences, as well as, you know, our ability to be the same. We're all human. We all want the same things, but I don't think that the current POTUS really thinks about anyone else besides himself. So, anyway, I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day. And anyway, I'll do a reading for October 14th. So, I promise you, I'll get to it. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.